Hi, good morning. It is THG News Today with Mervyn Henley. It's a pleasure to be here in your company once again. It's Wednesday, the 13th of March, 2024. And trust that you had yourselves a wonderful night's rest. The news this morning, of course, is brought to you with the kind compliments of Carl & Sons on St. Martin. They have two locations on the Pondville and in Colby, and also Thesis on Nevis, that's in Charlestown. Now, we have some news to get to this morning, but before we do that, we also have the spotlight for today. And for the spotlight, of course, send us your business ads, whatever it is, details, and we'll take care of the rest. We will explain or mention to the people, our viewers, our thousands of viewers and listeners, what you do, the business, whether you're in Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Kitts, Nevis, Dominica, Antigua, you name it, as low as $150. No matter what it is, if it's a notice, whatever it is, up to 7 days or more, you can get this right here on THG News Today in what we call Spotlight. Yeah? Just before we get to the news quickly, let's put that up on the screen. You see all that? All that is happening over in Montserrat. In Montserrat, they're celebrating St. Patrick's Day in grand style. It's the entire week of activities. And Nevisians and Kittitians, there's a vessel, there's a ferry going over, whether it's for the day, week or weekend or whatever the case may be. The information is right there on your screen. For the day, I think it's $400 EC and a round trip around the Easter weekend, March 28th to April 1st, round trip, $425 EC. So if you want something to do for this entire month, starting this week, actually, it is Montserrat. Look at that. The different activities taking place over there in Montserrat. So you and or the family or a loved one, head on over to Montserrat just for a couple of days and enjoy some good entertainment. All right. Let me just give you the booking information. You may contact 869-669-4668. That's 669-4668. Or 763-9375. That's 763-9375. Head on over to Montserrat between now and the end of the month and just have a good time. Okay? Now we move on to some news. We begin this morning with news out of Nevis. The Nevis Island Administration will hold another in the series of public consultations regarding the proposed plans for the upgrade and expansion of the Vance Amory International Airport on Thursday, March 14th. This public consultation will be held at the Franklin Brown Community Center from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And of course, the general public is invited to attend to offer your suggestions and recommendations. Well, still a whole lot Nevisians do not know about this airport arrangement. All Nevisians know is that some wealthy guy who owns a jet wants to partner with the government. Or perhaps he has already. But Nevisians, of course, are not privy to that information. Not even an EIA Nevisians are privy about. Whether or not that has taken place, I am sure those questions will be asked on Thursdays, it is. But folks are just hurriedly trying to show some activity at the Vance Amory Airport. So the Nevis Island government, they will attempt another town hall. Well, they had one. They attempted a town hall last year. And in my opinion, it was a total disaster. They brought a gentleman who could not speak English. They brought him to speak to an English-speaking audience. So that did not go too well. Then the next person in line to answer questions or to give information was Alexis Jeffers, who is special advisor to the Premier and responsibility for the airport. And his contributions were neither here nor there. So they are attempting another meeting on March 14th. So please try your best to be there, especially those of you in the St. James area, because you will be impacted most. So that's happening on the 14th at the Franklin Brown Community Center. Now we move on to news out of Jamaica. We know that Haiti's prime minister, he agreed late Monday to step aside as armed gangs plunge his country into anarchy as he accepted a regional push for a transition that sets the stage for international intervention. Caribbean nations secured Prime Minister Henry's resignation at an emergency meeting in Jamaica where U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken offered another $100 million to pave the way for the security force, which will be led by Kenya. Henry, in his statement, said, "The government I lead cannot remain insensitive to this situation. As I have always said, no sacrifice is too great for our homeland, Haiti," he said in his resignation address. The gang leaders had demanded the departure of Henry, who, while speaking of himself as a transitional figure, had remained in power since 2021, when Haiti's president was assassinated. Guyana's President Ali, who chairs the Caribbean regional body CARICOM, announced after a weekend of diplomacy that Henry would leave once a new transitional authority is in place. The Guyana's president saluted Henry, saying that the prime minister, stranded in Puerto Rico, as Haiti's main airport is no longer functioning, has assured us in his actions, in his words, of his selfless intent. And that selfless intent was to see Haiti succeed. Now, the U.S. Secretary of State, who spent 7 hours inside the Kingston Hotel, confirmed the resignation in a telephone call initiated by Prime Minister Mia Mottley. These were some serious negotiations taking place there in Jamaica on Monday. The United States agreed that the outgoing Prime Minister, he's welcome to stay on U.S. soil if he feels unsafe in Haiti. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, you hear that? $100 million US. So I can imagine how that negotiation went down. And finally, we move on to news out of the British Virgin Islands this morning. The Honorable Myron Walwyn, the 6th District Representative, has inquired about the steps the government is taking amid reports that cancers are on the rise in the British Virgin Islands. It was the BVI News who broke the story about BVI's alarming cancer rate in October 2023, with evidence from one oncologist who said her practice alone, has diagnosed close to 400 cancer cases in 4 years. The story rocked the community, but there has been no formal statement or action from the government since then. However, in a recent sitting of the House of Assembly, Walwyn asked the health minister if the government intends to conduct a study into the high rate and possible causes of cancer in the BVI. Walwyn also asked the minister to state why nothing has been done to date and when the government intends to take action. In response, Health Minister Vincent Wheatley admitted that there is no plan to conduct a study in the causes and high cancer rate. There is no plan. But he said efforts are underway to improve tracking and surveillance, which will provide more useful information than a study. My ministry has not commissioned a study into cancer deaths into the territory. However, work to improve cancer surveillance and implement a cancer registry is ongoing and will essentially be a better use of resources, Minister Wheatley said. He also added that the BVI is working with the Caribbean Public Health Agency and UK officials to strengthen the surveillance of the non-communicable diseases, including cancers, to ensure the government has ongoing information in these areas. The oncologist explained in the BVI News exclusive that the breast, prostate, and colon cancers are the most popular cases on the rise in the British Virgin Islands. She also noted that more women are being diagnosed than men. The patients are increasingly becoming younger, and they have been flowing in from the 4 main islands of the British Virgin Islands. When asked to point to the possible causes, the physician quickly called out dietary practices of residents in the BVI. She urged residents to reduce their consumption of processed foods. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our news for this morning. Remember our spotlight for today. We focused on the ferry service. Montserrat is where it's happening from now until the end of the month. So be sure to check out the information above that I gave to you. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't miss a beat. Don't miss a thing that's happening here. It's just going to get bigger and better here on THG Network and the THG News Today. Do join us again tomorrow morning for a similar presentation. I am Mervyn Hanley, and I am wishing you a wonderful day.
Arlinsons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years, and the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Carl & Sons for simply the best. There are 2 locations, Colbay and on the Punville. In Colbay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punville, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colbay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you.